Hey everybody, I just wanted to get to you before we got to the 1,300 subscribers. We're at 1,299 I believe right now, and I wanted to just get with you on the 1,200 subscriber update video, all the projects going on. First of all, I want to say thank you to Christopher Womacks. He has his own channel and it's under his own name. It's on YouTube, and it's a really good channel. He's got a really a wide range of knowledge on different things: fiberglass repair, body repair, carbon fiber stuff. He's working on his, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, I think it might be his first LS turbo build. I don't think it's his first LS swap, but I think it's the first turbo build coming up. And if he builds it like he's done the rest of his projects, I'd say he'll probably do a pretty good job. But anyways, he sent me this shirt. He wanted to send it to me, and I'm glad he did. The back of it kind of cracks me up. So that was pretty cool. That come all the way across the country. I thought that was a pretty nice gesture. Anyways, check him out. He actually does make some decent videos worth watching. So anyways, test. Bill Gates went to a test and tune event last night at the Wagler versus Gas Diesel event in Lyons, Indiana, at Wagler Motorsports Park. I got to make 3 passes, and none of them really worked out. The first pass, I should start over. As I was driving there, I noticed the car was running rich. I tried it for the first time with the meth injection on it, and it was falling on its face. So I leaned it out. Here's my air fuel ratio gauge. But anyways, I leaned this thing out, BFI Live, and it only had a 17-to-1 air fuel ratio. So after about 60 feet, I let out of it. Second pass, after I messed with the tuning on it, evidently I did something wrong. But I went up there and ran a 19-to-1 air fuel ratio. So I put the original tune back in it that I drove up there with, to at least get it to run rich. And I just wanted to make a full pass. So I get up there, do a burnout, does a pretty good burnout. I leave okay. It was doing all right, and it built boost up, man. It was leaving, but it wouldn't shift out of first gear, this 4L80 transmission. So this 4L80, I like it as far as cruising. Super awesome transmission for what you can do with all the adjustments in it, but I think for the simplicity of it, I'm going to swap over to a Turbo 400. I've ran this transmission for, let's see, this will be the 2nd season, and it does good. It's like it's a bulletproof transmission, but for whatever reason, I think maybe I was just getting it hot, and I added a second transmission cooler to try to help prevent that, but it didn't work. So I would still say this is a good transmission. I'm just going to swap over to the 400, and I already have a good 4,000 stall converter here that I'll be able to use in a 400. So leading up to this race, or the event, I was driving this car around trying to tune it, and I drove to town one night just to get something to eat and do some data logging and whatever. And on the way back home, it cut down to like 4 cylinders. Turns out this little screw here that holds the chrome trim onto the hood, we had rubbed through the harness into the wiring and actually blew the fuse for the passenger side injectors. So I had no injectors on the passenger side. I don't know how this thing ran and made it home, but it did. it didn't leave me sitting. So, good engine. All right. So, anyways, the turbo sit-up. It's a little different from what you're going to see on TV now. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but what was that, last Monday night? It was actually on the Discovery Channel on Street Outlaws, believe it or not. Actually, I haven't even seen it yet. Somebody showed me a video where they recorded it off their TV. I thought that was pretty awesome, but this whole cold side deal it was just a mess. So I tried adding intercoolers, and that didn't work out for me, so I added this hose, $1.99 a foot at Rural King. And it's just a 2-inch hose, but it's really super thick, really strong. It's never going to bust. It's just fine. Just happened to have this merge deal from a Pro Charger kit sitting here. I did put the 8-pound springs in it, in the wastegates. And last night I turned the meth off on the way home, driving it home, and got on it, and the transmission, I don't know, it's just all in the settings, I'm sure, but wouldn't really shift down, really wouldn't take off and go, but it would build boost, man, when it did. I mean, it would just pull. Pulls good. It's running good, but it just needs a little bit of help behind the motor. Also, while that was going on, I was trying to switch back and forth between this car and driving I believe it was an 09 GMC Sierra 2500 with the Duramax and a 6-speed Allison. That actually belongs to another guy. His name is Don, and he is taking it to Wagler's here in July to basically give it the works. So we wanted to see a before and after. So I only got to run the truck twice. I was waiting until the air cooled off a little bit and the truck cooled off, and I was going to make a third pass, but they shut testing down for whatever reason. That's fine. Everybody been there all day. I'm sure they're tired. But I get in the truck and it runs a 1028 with a 1 on the first pass. Second pass, it ran a 1028 with a 1. How in the world I was able to do that, I don't know. Coincidence. Anyways, I was hoping to maybe squeak it into a 9, but it just didn't happen for us. So anyways, it's a 1028 in the 8th mile, so at least now we know. Also, let's see, what have we got to work on here? The exhaust is one thing that I would like to change on this. I want the exhaust to not go out of the hood. I want it to run out of this hole that's already in the fender. So somehow I have to build exhaust, and I don't really think I have enough pieces to do it, but I want to see it done. Also, I added a oil catch can, and it's underneath this panel so you can't see it, and a coolant reservoir. So all that stuff's done. At least it wasn't going to leak all over the track. The brakes. During the Street Outlaws filming, I just got that car running like an hour before or whatever, so drive to the track, and the brakes, could not get the brakes to work. I get it back home, and I took the proportioning valve off of it and bypassed all that. So now it's just master cylinder and then brakes, and that's it. All new rubber hoses on it, and still I can't get the brakes to work. So I mean, they're a little better, but they're not good enough to hold the car at the line. I can't sit up there and build boost at the line. So yeah. The cooling fans don't work very well. One night while I was in town driving around, I also blew a fuse. This fuse right here, it was a 30 amp, and I didn't realize it, but I have my cooling fans and everything else that takes power off this one stud that runs this one fuse. So that was my fault. I took this fuse out of this spot. This spot is for the ignition, so then the car wouldn't start then either. So this one was for the ABS. I put it in the ignition hole, and then we're good to go again. The orange truck. If any of you keep up with the 74 GMC with the 4.8, it's doing okay. Although at the last event that it was at, the locker, for whatever reason, wasn't working correctly. But you know, you spend $200 or $250 on a locker from Amazon, you're gonna get what you pay for, right? But anyways, my brother, he owns that truck, and he took the locker out of it, couldn't find anything wrong with it, put it back in, and now all of a sudden the thing's working correctly again. He come out here and did a burnout the other day. He made his own set of Caltrax. I shouldn't use that name, but anyways, he made his own set of traction bars. There we go. And it took care of his wheel hop problem, so I'm really anxious to see that truck go back to the track. I really wish he would invest in a wideband air fuel gauge so we can figure out what it's doing, or keep a better eye on it. The black 95 Camaro. There's been a lot of people asking about it, where it's at. Well, it's actually just a mile or less than a mile up the road from me, sitting in a garage, and it's been painted under the hood. The cage and all that stuff's been painted. It's ready to go back together. The engine is sitting here in the garage. I got to get a bung welded into the pan for the supercharger before we throw it all back together. The owner, Evan, has been busy. He's got school and work, and he's been out of the country, and there's a lot going on. So he was talking last night. Last night was the first time I seen him in a good while, and he was saying, I shouldn't have come to this, So he's really wanting to get his car back together, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, guess I'll show you a few things on here real quick while we're at it. This is the meth injector. It sprays a real fine, real wide and real fine mist of methanol. It works really well. If you take this out and just stick it up in the air and spray it, there's a lot more comes out of it than what you think. This is the switch to turn it on. I hope it's still, I don't know if you can hear it. And then we've got, I don't know if many of you know it or not. Of course, I didn't cut the zip tie off, but there's a vacuum nipple here on the side of these intakes, and they've got this little piece of plastic you can break off, and it opens that hole up. Reminds you of those drinks, what are they called, high C or whatever. You had to break that plastic off the top. That's exactly the same deal. It is running to a Vibrant vacuum manifold, and from there I ran this copper line to the boost gauge, and then this line that looks kink but is not is actually going to the 3-bar map sensor. So those are just a couple things I've added since I last talked about the car. So I think that's it for right now. I'm really anxious to hear or see the white truck, the truck that I drove last night, after it gets back from Wagler's, on all the parts being put on it, which actually it's only getting a cold air intake, 4-inch exhaust, and EFI Live put on it. and an edge monitor so we can read exhaust gas temperature and boost and things like that. Some of the gauges that the truck should have had but doesn't from the factory. So okay, if you have any questions, comments, if not, and you just want to like, or if you just want to send hate mail or whatever, you know, that's fine too. Just make sure if you absolutely hate the video, at least subscribe. Right? You got what you paid for on this video, didn't you? So, I don't really know where to go from here at this point, because I'm really needing a transmission more than anything. I've got a transmission, got a converter, but I gotta get a drive shaft made. And the Turbo 400 is a, well, hell, let's go look at it. Well, this is the transmission. Been drug around out here, kind of shoved under, halfway under a building, didn't even get it all the way under. But anyways, it uses the bolt-in yoke. So what is this transmission? Is actually is it considered a Turbo 475? Anyways, this is the one that came out of Evan's car last year. That in his car it was junk. I mean, thing just would not work. But Evan's making way more power than what I am. I don't think that motor I've got is going to make that kind of power, but I think in my car it'll probably be okay. I'll probably try to fix a few oil leaks on it, which it looks like. Looks like it was leaking here pretty good. I don't know. And then the best part about the whole car would end up being the converter, because it's actually a really good converter. So, all right, I guess that's it. Or wait, I can show you the truck I got. Okay, here's this 89 Chevy truck. And there's the cart marrow. And a bunch of parts of other stuff laying around here, but what do you think of that? So the problem with this truck is the transmission is, it may be junk. I don't know yet. I drove the truck here, and it acts like it doesn't have enough pressure. Like first gear, it'll run all the way through first gear to like a higher RPM, then it'll shift. And the second and third is just fine. But then after the transmission warms up, it shifts to, or it won't shift in the third. You have to rev it through first gear to get the shift, and then second gear, it stays in second gear and won't shift up anymore. So it's just a 350 throttle body injection. I actually built the motor in this truck, and it runs fine. Runs real good. It's just the transmission is just hating life. So at least now I'll be able to trailer some stuff around. Although if I ever got another car trailer, I would probably trailer the car. But I like the idea of not having a car trailer, because then it forces me to have to drive the car, which tells people it is a street car, right? And I drove that car on a naval base Friday. I cannot believe they even let me in. But anyways, it was funny. The guard, he was not impressed. So, okay, that's it. I'm gonna get caught up on some things, and I've got a whole bunch of videos to edit and get uploaded. But I'm just kind of waiting on YouTube to get their act together. They're kind of, I think they're, I don't want to say they're screwing people out of money, because they're not. I mean, they didn't have to put ads on videos and stuff like that, but at the same time, that's kind of why I started this whole deal, was for the money from YouTube, and now it's not working out. So they say end of June is when they'll roll around, so I'll wait it out for a little while, see where it goes. Anyways, if you're racing today, good luck. And if you're working on a car, I hope you have better luck than I did. So, all right. See you later.